Welcome to the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, your guide to motorsports sponsorship. Here's your host, Josh Weesey.
Welcome to this episode of the Sponsored Rider Club podcast, which is powered by 4 Wheel Parts. I am really excited about the show tonight. I'm bringing on Joe Sylvester here in a minute. This is going to be the fourth time that he has actually been on this show. He's been on one other live show and then 2 other normal podcasts before that. But we're going to be talking about monster trucks, car shows, High Octane Coffee. We're going to be talking about sponsorship and then whatever the heck you want us to talk about. So Mark, Rohan, welcome. You know, the deal is once you join, start watching this thing, go ahead and leave a little comment. Let us know you're here and put any questions you want in this thing. There's no bad questions. I might skip over certain questions. They could be bad from that standpoint because maybe they're inappropriate, but for the most part, there's no dumb questions. So go ahead and ask those things, and I will get to them as soon as I can. I'm going to go ahead right now and start inviting Joey because I just want to make sure I don't have any issues. Yep, that's not how you do it. Looks a little different today. I don't know why, but okay, can't invite him yet, but he should be joining here in a little bit. But I got plenty of stuff to talk about before he comes on anyways. First off, 4 Wheel Parts. Really excited to be working with them. They got a bunch of good deals going on right now. You can kind of see it in the background scrolling through. $100 off BF Goodrich tires. And I think they paid the sales tax if I remember correctly. Best Top's got some deals going on. Suspension kits, $500 off. This is pretty easy. All I can do is just read these ads back here. And I think they got a 5% discount code that I know I got just recently by going ahead and logging in and submitted my email address, and I got like a 5% off coupon code. So either way, you can do that, get 5% off. Next thing I want to talk about real quick, Bold Racing. They've been a huge part of the show, and they've helped us power the live experience for quite a long time now. Coming up at Vegas to Reno, I'm going to be pitting with them again. So I'm pretty excited to be hanging out with those guys again on the trails, on the racetrack. Hopefully we can do a little better than last year. We had some challenges with the steering box last year. Put us out pretty early on in the race, but we're going back again. I'm going to get some podcast recording done at the Tech and Contingency, which is Thursday, and then Friday starts the race, and then we'll race into Saturday, and hopefully finish with a good finish there. I just said finish twice there. Let's see if I can get. All right, Joey's not watching yet, but I'll just keep running my mouth until he can join. I will tell you about a couple of the other previous episodes that we just had on. I actually got them pulled up here. So I had Sean Holman of the Truck Show podcast on. He's also part of Motor Trend Group, which means he's involved with like every major publication for Motor Trend. 4-Wheeler Magazine, Truckin' Magazine. There's just like, I don't know, 100 different magazines that he's involved with. So pretty good stuff. He was phenomenal, super sharp. I got that episode out there, so if you're, just now getting involved with the show and you haven't heard this one yet or seen this one yet, all you can do is subscribe, get a hold of it. It'll download directly to whatever you're on. So I use it's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, Google Play. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. Let's see if we got. Hey, Joey Sylvester is watching. What? That's all you gotta do. You just gotta watch, and I can add you to the show here in a minute. Sean Holman was on before that. Scott Harden, 40 years of motorsports marketing experience. He's vice president of marketing for KTM for like 20 years. That was episode 167. 166, I talked about do you get sponsored to get a job? That's a good choice. Either way, go back and check out some of those older episodes. Some really fun ones there, and I got a lot more planned in the near future. All right, I'm going to see if I can add Joey now. So how have you been, man? Let's see. I got my notes here. Episode 146 was the last time you were on. I think that might have been a live show. I don't know anymore. So that's the last time you were on. This one, when it releases me, probably 169. So what in the world have you been doing since then?
I don't think we have enough time to to talk about it. I've been busy, man. Been a lot of stuff going on. Obviously, no sprint car racing this year because I decided to get back into monster trucks again.
Right.
That's not really new news, but for anybody who didn't know, we are building a new monster truck. If they follow me on Instagram, you got your French press mug there, I see, from High Octane.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I just got water in here, though, because I have to go to bed once we're done with this, and there's no way.
I got water, too. Yeah, we've been busy, man. You know, over winter we built the big orange truck to promote all my partners and High Octane Coffee. We've been all over the place, different truck shows all over the country, plus doing shows at my place. And, you know, the monster truck with the chassis done, it's in my shop now, and we've been working on that. I've been out there a little bit at a time, man, just chiseling away at it. We're trying to have it done by November for SEMA. That's kind of the goal. We want to do an unveiling out there with some of our partners and stuff. So that's kind of the goal, and it is going to be a high octane truck, and it's going to be bad to the bone, man. It's going to be awesome.
When is SEMA again? We should know this off the top of my head.
It's it's November 5th, I think. It's like almost like a week later than it usually is. It's like the first week in November. Starts on I think it's like the 5th or something.
I'd really like to go to SEMA.
Oh, you never been there? Oh, dude, you got to go.
No.
You got to go. It's awesome. And what's cool about it is everybody that you know or you need to know in motorsports is there. They're in one place at one time. Mm-hmm. So you can go, you can meet everybody that you've already got a relationship with. You go put a face to the name. You know, so it's just, and plus just the show is outstanding.
Yeah. Man. I gotta do some figuring. I need to take. Did it do like 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds? Actually, yeah. How do they do up there? 4-year-olds and 6-year-olds?
You might want to keep them back at the hotel. There's a lot.
I thought that would be good for them.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking and stuff, and there's a lot of people there. But you know, there's so many awesome vehicles there. From just anything that has wheels and a motor. The best of the best is there. So.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. I gotta do some thinking. Maybe instead of sleeping tonight, I'm thinking on how I can make it to SEMA this year.
Hey, flights to Vegas are cheap, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually just bought my Vegas to Reno tickets for, when was that I bought them? It was probably like a month ago. Man, it was still, just to get there and back, it was still like $600 or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it gets expensive. But I'm going to Vegas for an extra day, so I'm going to get there before Vegas to Reno actually starts. I'm going to have like a day to just explore, and I don't even know what I'm going to do then yet. I got lots of figuring to do. I've been on vacation. I forgot that life exists. I did the life deal for the past 10 days. I'm like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing with my anymore. I'd roll out of bed at some point, grab a beer or drink or whatever, and then I go back to bed at some other point. That's all I remember.
Get back into the swing of things now.
Exactly. But all right, well, hey, look, we got a ton of stuff I want to talk about. I mean, a lot of it actually has been things you've been up to, but one of them I want to discuss is your monster truck that you're building. Tell me a little bit about the story behind that. Why did you choose to get back into the monster truck deal, and why are you building your own truck?
Absolutely, man. I mean, when I got out of the sport in 2013, I had been in it for about 8 years. I started in 2006. I was about 22 years old, so I literally spent my entire 20s out on the road, monster trucking. Everybody that was out on the road, from drivers to crew to track officials, promoters, became a second family to me. Really, I saw them more than I saw my own family, actually. And, it just became a huge part of my life. I was on the road for 45 weeks a year. I fell in love with it. I loved it. The fans, a lot of fans that I still have today that have followed me into every other aspect of racing that I've done. Even if it wasn't something they were into, it's been really, really cool to have, reached people and made an impression on people that even though they're monster truck fans, they became Joe Sylvester fans, and they would come and support me in dirt track racing, off-road racing. And that was a really big part of, what I loved about the sport. When I got out of it, 2013, I won the Young Guns shootout in Las Vegas at the Monster Jam World Finals. I successfully promoted my own show at my local fairgrounds, and I did my second Guinness World Record jump. So I had 3 highlights that year that I was like, you know what? Now is a good time to shift gears. I feel like I've accomplished a lot in the sport, in the business. There were some other factors that played into it to where I wasn't enjoying it as much as I was. It was becoming more cumbersome and more of a job than it was fun. So I kind of had my sights set on short course off-road racing. And I was dead set that that's what I was going to do, and that's where my future lied. So I sold everything and invested heavily. Basically, everything I got from my monster truck team, I reinvested into a short course off-road racing team. And I raced Pro Light in the Torque Series for a little over a year, and just wasn't real happy with the direction that was going. It was just I didn't like the direction that the sport was going, and it was just not feasible for me being from Ohio, and just financially it was not very feasible, you know. So I knew I had to shift gears if I wanted to continue, you know, racing as a career. So that was when I got into dirt track racing. I started racing late models, and then I raced sprint cars for 3 years. And, you know, I've always considered myself a competitive person, but over the past few years of being away from monster trucks, which is kind of a little bit more about a show and a little bit more about the entertainment side of motorsports than it is the diehard competition, I realized that I like entertaining people and putting on a show and showing off even more so than I enjoy good competition. So, you know, I always found myself thinking about it and seeing what my buddies were up to in monster trucks and seeing where the sport was going. And, you know, I almost tried to remove myself from it so that I didn't know what was going on, but it kept coming back to me, you know, and I kept thinking about it, and I would always see fans and, you know, fans that would come to High Octane would come to the coffee shop, and I'm like, man, this is really cool that these people still remember me after being out of the sport for a few years. And as I'm getting older, you know, I'm 35 now, so I've matured since I started when I was 22. I've learned more about business. I've learned more about life. And what I really enjoy is when somebody comes to me or messages me on social media and says, hey, what you do or what you said inspired me, and inspired me to go and finish that hot rod in my garage, or call my dad up and build a car together, or whatever it is, you know, a business. It inspired me to move forward in my business and keep pushing through the hard times. That feels really good to me. So I think to myself, what can I do? Of all the stuff I've done, I've raced everything with wheels. What can I do that's going to make the most impact in a positive way, that's going to continue to allow me to inspire people to go out and use their hands and literally build their dreams and do something cool that they could be proud of? And I kept coming back to monster trucks every time, because there's nothing that has the amount of fabrication. There's nothing that just sheerly makes the impact that a monster truck does, at least in my opinion, or at least that I know. You know, I understand that world. I know everything about the trucks, how it works, the business. So it wasn't like when I got into off-road racing and then I got into sprint car racing, I was starting all over again. I didn't know anything, and it had to be a really steep learning curve. The monster trucks I did for so long, it's become second nature. Like, I recently started rebuilding shocks again for other guys, and it was crazy. The first set of shocks I pulled apart, I didn't even need to check the valve shims and stuff with a micrometer. Like, I knew just by the feel in my hand what I was doing. I remembered every step of the way what I did, and I haven't built monster truck shocks in probably 6 years. So it's crazy how it all just kind of came back to me, and you know, it just kind of reassured me that I'm going back in the right direction. And so that was a big part of it. You know, just it's in my blood. I'm passionate about it. I love it. And I guess it's one of those things, you know, you don't know what you had until you lose it. I didn't realize how much I really loved the sport of monster trucks until I stepped away from it the way I did. And I mean, sure, I was in it for a little bit. I drove for some other teams, you know, so I was kind of floating in and out, you know. But there's something to be said about when you have a truck of your own that you built, and you go out and you tear it up, you fly through the air, and people come to you and say, man, that's really awesome, you know. Who built your truck? And you'd be like, well, I did. You know, I'm out there wrecking it. I'm also the one that built it. So It's a pretty prideful thing. And I enjoy the process of building it too, and right now I'm trying not to put myself under any kind of pressure to try to get it done. I'm trying to enjoy it. I do have a deadline in mind, but I'm not killing myself trying to do it every single day and say, okay, I need to have this done today and tomorrow. Like, I'm just kind of going with the flow, and it's coming along pretty good. We're kind of in the phase right now of ordering parts and getting stuff in-house, sending stuff off the powder coat. And hopefully next month I can actually start the assembly process where everything just basically bolting everything together.
I'll tell you what, I've been following some of the build, and just the sheer number of like braces that are on that thing.
Oh yeah,
just ridiculous.
It's the sport has gone. It's gotten to the performances have gotten to a level that not many people are really worried about trying to save weight or trying to make the trucks lightweight, because it hasn't worked. The trucks the courses and the performances are getting so demanding that we have to make everything as strong as possible and really protect us as drivers, because we're getting completely stupid.
Right.
We're getting stupid out there. It's crazy, Yeah. But the chassis, my chassis has over 600 feet of tubing and 80 pounds of welding wire in it. It's a lot. Weighs about 2,200 pounds just by itself bare.
Just the frame. Holy cow. It was funny. I took my wife and kids to the Ford Field Monster Jam.
It's a good one.
I thought it was this year, but I can't. It might have been late last year. Like Cynthia Gauthier was one of the drivers at that one. And either way, I took my wife and my two kids. I got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I was like, at the time they were a little younger. I was like, yeah, they're gonna do a backflip. My wife was like, ha 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 ha, you're cute, you little guy, they're not gonna do a backflip. I was like, they're gonna do a backflip. I was like, not just one, there's gonna be
like 10
backflips. And she's like
10.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, that's, she thought I was trying to mess with her. I was like, no, like I'm not. And then right off the bat, someone comes out there, boom, backflip. I was like, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you they do backflips.
Yeah.
They all do backflips.
Yeah, the performance it's really elevated a lot over the past few years. 4 years ago or so, it was pretty novel to see a backflip. There wasn't a whole lot of people doing it. You might see one at a show, or it was like a stunt off to the side of the show. Now it's just a normal part of a freestyle run.
Right. So you're also doing a lot now promoting the High Octane Coffee brand with this build, and also your other truck build that you just did, which is pretty awesome. And that alone was a pretty significant build. So tell me about that. Like, how is this benefiting your own brand, your own company, building this monster truck, and also building your other pretty much monster truck too?
Yeah. My Super Duty came together. It was a lot of partners coming together to stand behind me. Fairway Ford is where the Super Duty came from. They're a local Ford dealership right here in Canfield, Ohio, in my hometown. Great guys. They're gearheads. They've got motorcycles. They all race. And then they also started Canfield Rhino and Truck Accessories, which is rhino linings. And they do everything you can imagine for trucks and Jeeps. They do everything from bumpers to lift kits, wheels, tires, lights, everything. So it was a really good fit, because that's my world. Off-road community, trucks. That's been my scene since I was a kid. So it works out really well. Plus, they're right down the road. They were a big part of the build. Wicked Customs, Jordan from Wicked has been a friend of mine for many years, and in my opinion, from somebody who fabricates and builds things that jump and fly through the air, and I've been building lifted trucks since before I had my driver's license. I think he's the best in the business, in my opinion. He puts so much time and energy and R&D into his lift kits to where the truck is both outrageous but still functional. He does everything from leveling kits up to 16-inch plus lift kits on trucks, and every single one of them, everything will still work on your truck just as it did from the factory, and you could still tow with it. It goes down the road straight. I've got 12,000 miles on my truck, and probably 80% of those miles are with a trailer behind it. So I needed something that was going to be a good showpiece for my business. My whole mindset with this build was, when I roll in somewhere, I want somebody to say, who in the hell is High Octane Coffee when they see this truck?
Yeah.
So when I told Jordan what I want to do, I said, I want to do your 12-inch kit. I want this, the colors I want to do. And it's actually the first street truck that I've owned that I haven't built myself. I just gave it to Jordan. I said, do your thing. I don't know enough about these new trucks, and I don't want to mess anything up.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into these newer trucks to make them work properly when you're going to do something like a 12-inch lift, 14-inch wide wheels, and 40-inch tires. So Fury Tires jumped on board, Fury Off-Road Tires. Awesome company, really cool marketing strategy, very modern marketing strategy that they have. And it just fits really well with my brand. So I'm really excited they came on board. The tires are awesome. Like I said, I've got 12,000 miles on them, and they're barely even worn. They don't make, for being a mud terrain, they don't make a lot of noise going down the road, which is really nice for long drives and talking on the phone, making business deals and stuff like that. Hostile Wheels, I've had a connection with them since I raced Torque. When I showed them what I was building and the shows that we were going to, specifically Lone Star Throwdown in Texas, they decided they wanted to jump on board too and outfit the truck with a set of 24x14 Hostile forged wheels, which are awesome. The forged wheels are they're amazing. They're so nice. They balanced out really, really well with the Fury tires. I think we've got almost no weight on them to make them perfectly balanced going down the road. Horn blasters is a lot of fun. We have 6 train horns on the truck with a mount from Wicked Customs that goes in place of the spare tire mount, and it's got 6 air horns and an air compressor and a tank and everything. So we like to scare the hell out of people with that every now and then. It's fun too because it works on my keychain, so I could be like sitting back and people get too close to my truck and I honk the horn at them and they flip out. So it's fun. It's a good time. And so it's
awesome.
Been really cool. AMSOIL. I got nothing but AMSOIL fluids in the truck from front to back. FK rod ends. Jordan from Wicked uses nothing but FK rod ends, just like I do on the monster truck. He uses nothing but FK rod ends products on all of his lift kits. He won't trust anything else. So it was really cool to put everything together with all my current partners, and it not be a race car or a monster truck. It's a street truck that I was going to show off. And everybody was on board with it. And it's definitely doing its job. It's getting me up and down the road good, and it's definitely makes a statement everywhere I go. We have a whole mobile coffee shop basically on wheels. We call it the High Octane Mobile Cafe. We just did a cars and coffee event at Summit Racing this morning, and there was like 900 cars there. It was insane. We had a line that was it was nonstop at the trailer all morning long. So it allows us to go and grow the brand and hit up all these car shows. So I kind of killed 2 birds with one stone. I market my company, get my product out there, and market all my partners as well. So which was exactly my intention with it.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I want to bring it up too. I mean, there's plenty of people that watch this show, that listen to the show, that have their own companies, or they're building their own companies. Maybe they're thinking about building a company. And this is a nice way to kind of integrate it, especially with High Octane Coffee. You took, coffee and like, okay, everybody has coffee, right? But you said, no, this is different. And it is different too, like especially the bad habit, the stuff with 85%.
Yeah.
Caffeine, that gets you like, boom, let's roll. We're ready to do this. I love that stuff, man. Sorry, but it gets you going. But either way, you took that and you said, here's my people, here's my stuff. And you mix them together, and you said, how can I make this all one big happy family? And I encourage other people to do the same thing. Like, if you've got another business that you've got, who cares if it's different? Like, I don't care what you do. There might be some way to bring it in to your racing world, or even like, I mean, I've been having a lot of Jeep folks on the show recently, and there's been other people who are just truck builders. And, I mean, sponsors are all over these people.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I got a Jeep. You get a Jeep, throw up an Instagram page, guaranteed. You get $300, $400, $500, guaranteed. Companies are going to be reaching out to you. All you got to do is just put up pictures.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Someone will reach out to you and say, hey, let's work together.
It's a fiercely loyal demographic with Jeeps.
It is. So it's crazy. But either way, I just wanted to kind of dive into your truck build a little bit there because I knew that you had the strategy behind that, and I wanted other people to hear, some of your thoughts that you had behind it.
Absolutely.
And it looks like we got a couple people made some comments I missed earlier. Wendy Pack, hey, what's going on? Chris Stevens, listen to this. Keep doing what you guys do. You're truly an inspiration and beyond helpful. Boom. That's what you wanted, right? Inspiration.
Exactly.
That's good stuff. Well, I really only had one other topic that I want to cover. And then if people got questions or comments, whatever, leave them in the comment section.
Ask away.
Even if it's related. Ask away. That's what we're here for. Just like Chris said, like we're here to help. But even if you're watching this on a replay, one thing I ask people to do, if you are watching this later, just leave hashtag replay in there. And then leave your question. We'll come back later and answer that question. But, right now we're live. We can do it. I only prepare a couple of topics, and then any other things we have questions-wise, we'll hit those too. But no, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the events that you put on. So you put on these truck shows, Jeep shows, all sorts of different things to, part of the High Octane brand. But why do you do that? What's the benefit? Could other people do something similar? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Every week we do Caffeine and Gasoline on Thursday nights, which is just our weekly cruise night at High Octane Coffee. Just whatever you want to bring out, cruise on out after work and sit on the patio if it's a nice day and just talk about cars and stuff. And you never know what's going to show up. Sometimes we get semis, sometimes we get exotics, lifted trucks, diesels, Jeeps, American muscle cars, imports, you name it. It's been a Caffeine and Gasoline. And then on Sundays, we alternate, and we do once a month, we do Jeeps and Java, and once a month, we do Diesels and Donuts. Obviously, Diesels and Donuts is all trucks, Jeeps and Java is all Jeeps. And what it allows us to do is just kind of stay involved with the community in our area, create a cool, fun environment for people to go to and show off their work that they built in their garage, whether it's a truck or a Jeep. It's all stuff that I enjoy. And it not only creates awareness for my store, but it just, like I said, it contributes back to the community of hot rodding, basically. Hot rodding, I use it as kind of a generalized term, whether it's a Jeep, a truck, a semi, a boat, motorcycle, muscle car, vintage car, whatever. It's all hot rodding to me. And it's a matter of, what you built yourself. And I do everything I can because I feel it's such an important part of our culture as Americans, hot rodding in general, customizing vehicles, building something with your own two hands, making it your own. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be a Honda Civic or it could be a Ferrari. It doesn't matter. You do something cool, you make it your own, you put your own sweat into it, your own ideas and your hard-earned money. That's cool in my opinion. And I think I feel like it's kind of slowly disappearing from society a little bit. It's not I don't think it's as popular as it was like when I was a kid. And I'm trying to do my part to kind of keep it alive. And obviously I know a lot more people in the off-road community than I know anywhere else. So the truck world, the Jeep world, it was easy for me to put on those events. We try to bring in like guys with RC monster truck freestyle teams, guys with RC rock crawlers, put on a little show. Last year we had a sponsor that brought out an RTI ramp for the Jeeps and Java event. So we try to do some cool stuff, and I'll integrate a lot of my marketing partners with it as well. Like Fury Tires will send me a bunch of swag that we use for giveaways, stuff like that. So I kind of tie everything in with my marketing partners through my car shows as well. Actually, AMSOIL is the presenting partner of all of them. That's Jeeps and Java and Diesels and Donuts, all presented by AMSOIL, and actually Caffeine and Gasoline is too. And then we basically did it as a co-op deal with our local AMSOIL rep. So our local AMSOIL rep comes to every single one of our events, sets up a tent, and gets a lot of lead generation because of our events. So it's really cool to be able to activate with a local AMSOIL rep that's able to buy product from AMSOIL and keep his business growing.
That's awesome. It looks like Chris had to hop off, but he did have a very serious, very challenging question. Why are you still rocking headphones? It's 2019. Get some AirPods. But you might have some AirPods. You said you couldn't find your own headphones.
What, those little things that stick out of your ear that don't have wires? I don't have any of those, actually. Yeah. I don't listen to headphones very much, I have, I think I've got the big, DJ looking headphones for when I'm on an airplane, but I don't know, man. I'm not a big tech guy, I've got those. I've got those things, but wireless ones.
Yeah. I use these ones for when I'm recording my normal podcasts, and I have some smaller like Beats ones that I use for if I'm like watching a movie or something.
Yeah.
Or on an airplane. But I don't really do much of the little things. But
I didn't even know what they were when I first saw them. I thought I saw people wearing them. Like maybe I don't know, they have like surgery on their ears or something. I didn't know what the heck they were. So these white things hanging out of people's ears. It's like I said, I'm not real into technology. I'd rather lock myself in the shop and get behind the welder of my Lincoln welders and crank the rock and roll up and just turn the world off and start burning wire.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you got plenty of welding behind you here.
Oh yeah,
80 pounds of wire.
Oh yeah, and not over yet. I've been working on mounting my seat right now. I was out there tonight just before I barely made it in time for the podcast because I was out in the shop working. So it's almost therapeutic to me to be able to just go out there and crank up some good music and just sit out there and weld. I love it. I really enjoy it.
Awesome. Well, hey, I really enjoyed this conversation. I know you got a lot more welding to do. You got a lot more stuff to do. I got to get ready to go back to regular work tomorrow because I took a long time off of regular work, my day job. So I got to go get a good night's rest. And that's it, man. So I really appreciate it. Anybody else listening, if you're catching this on the audio version of this show, go ahead and head over to iTunes, leave a rating review. Heck, if you're watching now, head over to iTunes, leave a rating review. That'd be great. But you can also subscribe. Like I said, I'm all over the place. Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, like it's everywhere. So check those things out. And go check out High Octane Coffee's page. And actually, every time you listen to the show now, you get a marketing tune-up from Mr. Sylvester here. Yeah. So it's basically I do an intro, 3 to 4 minutes at the beginning of every show, and it's the next one. We get 1 minute of something that Joey talks about. You know, you've got all sorts of different tips and stuff that you've given. So yeah, check it out. Every week you get a little bit of a tune-up, a little bit of a piece of advice that Joey can elaborate on. But yeah, anything else you want to say before we close things out?
Just offer my testimony on your page, man, on your podcast. I love what you're doing. That's why I chose to support it too with High Octane. I feel that there's so many people out there in racing and motorsports that they don't understand how marketing and how sponsorships work. I notice it more than ever having my own company and seeing the way people approach me about sponsors. You know, people see the way I market and the way I brand High Octane, and they assume it's some really big company. But I get hit up, and I really see how, I don't want to say uneducated, but really nobody has taught a lot of these racers what they need to know to properly work with sponsors and obtain sponsors, get new sponsors. And I think you do a great job of that. The people you get on your show are respected in the industry and have a lot of valuable information to give, and I think that's great. I try to listen to everyone that I can. I do my marketing tune-ups. I don't think I know it all by any means, but I have experienced a lot. I've literally been working with sponsors since I was 15 years old, I think. I was racing mountain bikes back then, and I had like a O'Neill Azonic, GZ bicycles, Spy Optics. I've seen the sponsorship world change so much from the time I was 15 years old till now I'm 35. So literally 20 years. And like I said, it's ever evolving. And now with social media, it's really evolved differently from back then. So I try to just offer my bits of advice wherever I can. And like I said earlier, I enjoy inspiring and motivating and educating people based on just my experiences, really. You know, I don't think I know it all by any means, but I've definitely experienced a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate, those kind of words and you taking the time to help out. One thing that while you're talking, here on my screen, slide. It was episode 161, and this is like I even get frustrated thinking about it, but this was my episode on all the horrible things people say when they're trying to.
There's a lot
get sponsorship on. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Even for me, I mean, it's just crazy. But if anybody wants at least a good laugh, head over to you can go to sponsoredriderclubpodcast.com. The episode is 161. Slide into my DMs. I don't know, it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think I did hear some of that one.
It was just, it's funny. Okay, that's it. I am going to leave you with this. Have fun and ride safe.